Been through the desert, walked in the ocean, climbed up a mountain, I've sang in the wind, I cried out in the moonlight, I've drank that potion, wished in the fountain, and I've lived in sin. I keep searching for an answer to make me complete, but every time I think that I found it, the ground shifts under my feet. What I know is every moment is a blessing, and every love is like a light, and beauty comes with every sunrise. Living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose of life. To the goddess, lie in the night, dance with the devil, I've screamed at the store, held hands with the holy, I've touched the divine, I've plucked every petal, and again I've been born. I keep searching for an answer to make me complete, but every time I think that I found it, the ground shifts under my feet. What I know is every moment is a blessing, and every love is like a light, and beauty comes with every sunrise. Living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose, living is the purpose of kiss
Celebration Center. Welcome, welcome to this glorious day. At least it's a glorious day here in Virginia. And I know that we have a community that is beyond this local area. So if you are online with us today, please say hi in the chat and let us know how you are, how you found us, especially if you're new, how you're doing. And if you are in person, just a gentle reminder to turn your cell phone off. I am Jenn Fay. I'll be your host today. I'm one of the practitioners here. And so if you are new, we have a guest card that you can fill out that if you're online, there's a QR code that you can scan. And if you're in person, we have the actual form on the table over there. So let's take a moment to appreciate all the people who have helped plan this amazing service. And so we start with our tech crew, Ivor and Ryan in the back. Yay. Thank you, thank you. They do such an amazing job. I'll be your practitioner today. Thank you. We have our music director, Lynn Hollyfield, and I will be supporting her in music. And I wanted to give you an update on Reverend Chris. Most of you probably know she had knee replacement surgery 2 weeks ago. Seems longer. And she has met a 6-week goal in 2 weeks. Let's give her a round of applause. That is impressive. I'm so grateful. We also want to appreciate our guest speaker, Reverend Celeste Frazier. She is the Associate Minister at Unity of Washington in D.C. She's an amazing, inspiring speaker. She also has a podcast called Mystic Magic. I like that title a lot. She is a visioning facilitator and passionate teacher and healer. She directs outreach ministries. She is a performer, an author, a produced screenwriter. It's like, wow. She facilitates in-person and online diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations, so important for this world. And she was the event coordinator and keynote speaker for Celebrating Our Soul, a New Thought conference by people of African descent. That is so wonderful. She also has books available on Amazon and Kindle, and her website is celestefrazier.com. Let's give her a big round of applause. All right. So I have some announcements. So on Thursday, October 12th, our dear creative Miriam Cortellis, in place of art night, she is doing a cooking class, teaching us all how to make empanadas. And so this starts at 6:30. The cost is $25 to cover, the food expense, and any leftover will go to the center. But you do need to RSVP for this because of, what's involved in her getting the food ahead of time. And the last day to RSVP is October 5th. So a week in advance. Also, when you RSVP, if you can let her know if you have any food restrictions or preferences, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, anything else, and she will make modifications for you. So that should be a very interesting and fun evening. On Sunday, October 22nd, we're going to have our appreciation potluck where we celebrate us. Because we are all contributing to the amazing community that Celebration Center is. So bring your favorite dish. On Sunday, October 29th, this is our Halloween Sunday, so please wear your favorite costume, and we will have a little parade and show off what we've chosen and who we are in costume. There will be no hybrid community today, but we invite you to join us. If you go to the website, there's a list of activities that you can participate in and connect with us throughout the week. All right, Lynn and I are going to have an opening song for you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope you'll sing with us. We are going to start with "We Are Opening Up." Here we go. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. 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 We are opening.
So just take a breath with me. And as we connect with our hearts, let's recite our visioning statement together. Celebrating spirit within and knowing the oneness of humanity. So my quote today, we have a new month, a new theme. It's all about paradox. And this quote comes from Howard Thurman. This is the strangest of all paradox of the human adventure. We live inside all experience, but we are permitted to witness only to the outside. Such is the riddle of life and the story of the passing of our days. Again, taking a breath with me. And let's do a 3-part breath. Inhaling, holding the breath, exhaling, and inhale. Hold, and exhale. One more time, inhale, and hold, and exhale. And so we move into prayer. As we recognize there is one life, the life of spirit that is moving and breathing through all of life, through all of us. As we recognize and remember the expression of spirit that we each are in this moment and every moment, we can relax more because we are never alone. We have this amazing support, amazing guidance system. incredible vehicle that we call a body to express in this physical world. This beautiful world. And so as we simply notice what is all around us, what is showing up, with a curious mind, again, we can relax more. Instead of perhaps finding our way to a judgment, we just say, oh, that's interesting. And that is a lot of what paradox is about, isn't it? It is being curious that there are two sides to the coin. There are vast ideas and perspectives. And we can see that there is truth being revealed in two ways of thinking. And so it may take a little pausing, a little breathing into your heart, but we find that place where we can be comfortable in difference. We can appreciate variety. We can embrace diversity and celebrate, knowing that each person holds a piece of the puzzle. Each culture holds an amazing belief that we are all doing the best we can. And as we recognize that, we find greater community in the celebration, in the acceptance, in the love, in the light that is right here. And I'm grateful for all the gifts of this life that show up for each of us in all the aspects of life, in the wholeness of our physical bodies, the abundant flow of whatever we're calling forth, all of those amazing qualities of getting to be who we are as spirit in form. We send love out to anyone in this world who is grieving or suffering in some way. Sending our love out as peace, as a vibration of peace where there is no peace. And yet we know the truth that there is always peace, even in a place of war, that each heart holds that peace. And so it is from this place of knowing that we are evolving, becoming more of who we came here to be, I simply release all these words and ideas into that universal law that responds beautifully with a yes. We are blessed, and so it is.
We're going to start with a Martin Luther King quote and then go into There's a Healing Going On by Jamie Lula.
Darkness cannot drive away darkness. Only light can do that. Hatred cannot drive away hatred. Only love can do that. Let us walk to the banks of the river of love, where the current runs deep, baptized in the one. There's no separation and the light is all we see. Honoring all our differences and love will set us free. Oh, Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother,
Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. I see the blessings of the past. It's time to requalify. Not forget, but learn to forgive. God knows we gotta try. It's my responsibility to heal the wounds in me. Compassion, faith, and hope, and love, and truth will set us free. Whoa. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Mother, Father, God, there's a healing going on. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul. Oh, you rock my soul.
And now please welcome our guest speaker, Celeste Frazier, Reverend Celeste Frazier.
Thank you so much, Jen, and thank you all for the wonderful music. It is my joy to be here with you at the Celebration Center. I have been living out loud. How about you? You living out loud? Okay. Because that's why we're here. We're here to reveal the magnificence of God. Amen? So we're looking at this whole idea of playing with paradox this month. We're looking at what is that paradox mindset, right? And so that paradox mindset either pushes from either or to both and. And most of the time we think that it has to be either or, that it's black and white, that it's open shut case, and that is all that there is to it. But there's so much more to the expansive universe than simply light and dark, for example. And what I have come to know is that even in the darkness, that I would not be able to see the darkness if there was no light. And that light is not a physical light or even the light from the stars. That light is the divine energy that is within each thing. I was going to say each person, but it's within each creation. And what I know is that there is a wonderful way that we can understand that those concepts like pro and con don't necessarily create opposites, because if that were true, then progress and congress would be opposites. And even though we're knowing that there are times when we believe that, when it looks like that, when there's threats of things like government shutdown, and when there's threats of things of decisions that we are not in alignment with, it appears that we move into that us and them mentality. It appears that we move into that separation space. And when we do that, then we are cutting off our good in so many ways. We are cutting off the realm of possibilities from being fully expressed. And so what I know is that some of the world's most creative thinkers develop their ideas by propositions like that are simultaneously true and not true. And so in that whole spectrum of infinite possibilities, we get to grasp, or we get to take something from this whole expansive dimension of this thing that we call life. Even the word mind can be defined in different ways. Mind can be defined as awareness. Mind can be defined as intellect. Mind can be defined as annoyed. Like I don't mind, or I'm not annoyed. So when you understand that Ernest Holmes calls this potential energy, we are each potential energy, and what we have to express is based on the truth that what Ernest Holmes says, the one mind is all of truth, and all of the definitions of mind are true. So mind means both annoyed and love itself. And so as we continue to look at this, we think about a man named Janus. And he was the Roman god of beginnings and transitions. And this whole idea was that, there's this God of doors, and there's this God of gates, and there's this God of choices, and there's this God of duality, and there's this God of war and God of peace. And when we think about that type of mindset, it really gets us into a very closed space where we can't really expand from a place that is so open shut, that is so defined, that has no variations, that has no emanations or expressions that give us more colors to be able to see the infinite possibilities that are available to us. And so this alone should make you curious, I would think, and hopefully not confused. Because when you can allow yourself to see the possibility, to know, and by know I mean understand, when you can allow yourself to know the possibility that the opposite to truth can be another absolute truth, then you are not limiting yourself to one way of seeing or one way of thinking. Because when you are able to open up to this realm of infinite possibilities and see that there may be other options besides us and them, or either or, then you may be able to know that you don't necessarily have to have beef with someone because they don't see things the way that you do. And while I know that that may seem impossible in these times of polarization, but, it leads to questions, and questions are always good because it makes you think. And thinking is more than a gathering of information to absorb and redistribute. Thinking is an exploration of the soul. At least it is for me. Because when I allow myself to think, then I am moving into that dimension of me that is receiving the divine impress from cause, from source, from love itself. And when I am able to know, like I know that you know, that this presence is not a simple either or, it is not two kinds of seemingly opposed ideas. It is not even one single idea. And so in order for us to talk about healing, like was done in the song, in order for us to know healing, then we have to know that there is something more than one or the other. When we are in the midst of healing, we are in the heart of oneness. And in the heart of oneness, there is no separation. In the heart of oneness, there is an expansiveness. In the heart of oneness, we are in this space of acceptance. We are in this space in the midst of a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, yes? We are in that awareness in the middle of a treatment when we come to that realization right there that there is a condition and there is a truth, and that the condition and the truth are not necessarily opposites, but that they come together to create another level of understanding in our consciousness that we did not have before. And so looking at a condition and finding the truth, you can simply move into the realm of infinite possibilities and see where that takes you and see where God takes you. And I'm not inviting you to do a spiritual bypass at all. I'm inviting you to go into the realm of infinite possibilities. Because if you are not in the realm of infinite possibilities, you are likely like the lost hiker who is on a piece of land and looking across a distance, seeing that there is a Buddhist monk on the other side, and that there's the appearance that there are no bridges and that there is no boat to get across the lake. The lost hiker yells, "I need you to help me get to the other side." And the Buddhist replies, "You are on the other side." So when we look at the many conflicts in the world, race, war, sexuality, economy, environment, inequities, it's stressful because you're just looking at conditions. And now, psychiatrist Albert Rothenberg coined the phrase Jennusian thinking to describe the paradox mindset. And so Jennusian thinking is the practice of actively conceiving and using multiple opposites or antithetical thoughts simultaneously to solve problems, such that rather than push against a challenger or push against an obstacle, that you open yourself up to the multiple opposites or antithetical thoughts simultaneously to solve the problem. Now that may seem overwhelming. That may seem about too many things to consider. That may seem like too much to try to grasp or too much working to do and could, give your brain some fatigue or something. But, rather than a mantra like, "How can this be for my good?" you can see that there are infinite possibilities. When Southwest Airlines first started, they were introducing a new concept. They were introducing a no numbered seat, lettered seat policy in terms of having a ticket in your hand where you know where you were going to be sitting on the plane. All the other airlines, they have their you're in seat B, you're in seat C, you're in row A1, you're in row 5, or whatever it is. And they said, hey, we're mixing this up. And by going through that whole process, they shaved 4 minutes off of the boarding. And for anybody who's been traveling these days, and you already know how difficult it is to try to deal with navigating through late flights and late arrivals. And so when you can shave minutes off of anything, you're grateful because it means that you're closer to being on point with where you want to be and what time you want to be there. And so we can ask, how can this be, in a way that is not, how can this be, but more like, how can this be? Like, how can we do this differently? How can we see this differently? How can I be different? How can I see differently? And so I know that this is more of a shift between what we're accustomed to. It's not about compromise. It's not about win-win, but it is about how can this be for the greatest of all concerned? Not just one group, not just one space, not just one particular business or entity, but how can this be good for all? Because when you think about the omnipotence of God, when you think about the omniscience of God, that powerful I am is able to do just that, to supply, support, and be the substance for all aspects of life, which is pretty awesome. And when I know that I am, then that gives me a license to be able to even approach this realm of infinite possibilities, because all of it is already within me. And so I'm not talking about just jumping to that mentally or intellectually, but I am talking about opening the heart, allowing yourself to be open. You know, Robert Ringer says, question everything, even if it represents generations of conventional wisdom. You know, that kind of goes along with that whole state of mind of this is the way we've always done it, you know, and therefore there are not going to be any changes. And if there are no changes, how is there any growth? How is there expansion? How is there an opening that will lead you to something will create a greater value in your life, a greater sense of feeling a joyful life? And so I look at those kinds of things when I think about this way of Janusian thinking, and I thought, wow, you know, we get in this space sometimes where we're saying like, I don't want that to happen, and I don't want them to do that, and I don't want them to say that, as if we had control over anybody's doing or speaking, right? And so when you think about what is the best solution for all concerned, that means that you have to push past what you think is the best for all concerned and know that that can be part of the possibility, but that there may be another piece as well that perhaps you haven't considered, but that somebody else has the clue to. And if you are likely to be cynical, I want to invite you to consider the question, what would I need to feel whole? Because we truly are, in a sense, more alike than we are different. Even if the outer appearance seems to contradict that, at the level of spirit, we are one. And so asking, what would I need to make me feel whole? And then what would the so-called opposite side need to feel whole? And if you are in your Christ mind, if you are in your oneness, if you are in this mind of the divine, you will realize that there is and never was anything that was in opposition to your good. That any kind of resistance means that you are attached to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of being, a certain way of having, a certain way of doing, and that the mere fact that you may have to do something different is inconvenient, perhaps even disturbing, perhaps even alarming. But knowing that there is nothing opposite to God, knowing that there is no separation between us and the one, then you'll come to know that you need no protection when you have a concept about danger, because you're already being supported. I've been dealing with a very topsy-turvy week this week, because there are people that can only see things one way, and it had a severe impact on my life. And so I was able to move really from the depths of sadness into a greater knowing of who God truly is. And by knowing who God truly is, I'm knowing that there can never be anything happening that is not for my highest and best good. And I'm not just throwing out those words. I'm saying in truth, this is the truth of what love is. And so in Ernest Holmes' Freedom from Stress book, he invites us not to hold our thoughts so static that whatever that habit is can destroy our happiness. I don't know if it's smoking or gambling or not just any vices. The way that you navigate through the world that is so rigid and so confined that it'll destroy your happiness. And it'll block the spiritual influx. And that's the main thing right there. We don't want to block the spiritual influx. We want to open up the spiritual influx. We want to be able to remove anything that gets in the way of our blessings. We want to remove anything that gets in the way of us receiving that divine light. We want to move anything that gets in the way of our oneness with God in our minds, because we're never not one with God. But thinking makes it so, yes? And so when you're holding something so firmly, you're not allowing the only thing that can support you to lift you. You're not leaving room for God. Because the ego, they say that's edging God out. When that stubbornness, that hardness, that thing that isn't pliable in the thinking process is so solid that nothing fluid can come into your awareness, that how can you realize, how can you experience, how can you accept and embrace all of the love, all of the joy, all of the beauty, all of the compassion, all of the support of the presence of God. And so, Ernest Holmes says, the question is its own answer. For the mind that asks the question is also of the mind that answers it. He says that in Living Without Fear. And so I just want to invite us to really be willing to not only think outside of the box, but to remove the box altogether. Because anytime there are lines that can't be crossed, anytime there is a boundary to going further that limits transporting, whether it's across a chasm or across a street or across a country or across a planet, there is limiting possibilities. And what I know about the nature of God is that infinite possibilities is our own very nature. And I invite you to know beyond limits that you are exceptional, that you can do more than you ever thought that you could, that you can be more than you ever thought that you could be, that you are this loving expression who can cross every border, remove every boundary, lift every limitation, and surrender to the only thing that is the loving presence of God, who knows no opposites, who could never be opposite from itself, and who is here for our greatest and highest good. Namaste. I would love to do treatment. I left my order of service at the seat. Mother, Father God, infinite truth. How wonderful it is to feel the presence, to evoke that which is already within me, to marinate in this substance of magnificence. How grateful I am that it is less than a heartbeat away, that it is closer than my very breath. And how wonderful it is that this benevolent universe is not only conspiring for my good, but providing my good in each and every moment that it is this I am that lives and moves and breathes in me that I can recognize in any being that I encounter, any being that I think about, any being that I know about, and that makes it possible and probable and definite that there is nothing outside of me. And in this awareness of oneness, I celebrate truly infinite possibilities that expand my joy, that expand my growth, that allows me to utilize my creativity, that allows me to go beyond any seeming limitations and grow and glow into a greater expression of myself. And as I know this is true for me, I know it is true for all that is. I know that it is true for any and every species to cohabitate, to love each other, to trust each other, to assist each other. And I know that that goes beyond any seeming separations that have been hereby previously established. For it is all poppycock if it is not in alignment with love and oneness. And so I am knowing that I'm only embracing truth. And in this awareness, I give thanks for this understanding. I give thanks for that horizon that has no end, knowing that I am that. And I'm so grateful. I lovingly release this word to the heart of God as the mind of God acts upon it. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
That was beautiful. Thank you. We're going to share a song by Jesse Colin Young. It's probably familiar to you. I hope you will sing along with us. It's called Get Together.
Love is but a song we sing, fear's way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we will surely pass. All is one and we are here, reminds us all will last. We are brightly shining sunlight, it's time for us to act. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. We can hear the song we sing, we all understand. We hold the key to love and fear, all in our loving hands. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there at our command. Come on, people now, smile on each other, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on each other,
Let's give more love to Celeste. Truly a powerful encouragement talk. I love the idea of not only thinking outside the box, but getting rid of the box. Okay, we come to our time in the service where we get to share from our abundance. This is the time to share our gifts, our offerings. And please know that your presence is truly a gift that we, without everyone showing up, whether you're in person or online, we wouldn't be here. And so it's a wonderful thing to share with our community, whether it's treasure, time, talent, many ways to share. And we are grateful. And so as far as giving financially, there are many ways that you can do that. If you are in person, we have a basket at the table. If you are online, there is a QR code you can scan. And if you want to mail a check, our address is on our website, celebrationcenter.org. Or online, you can also click the Give button. And so let's say our offertory affirmation together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And so we bless these wonderful offerings, just knowing that they come from our hearts, that this willingness to share is a gift to ourselves as we activate the law of circulation, that these gifts come to the Celebration Center and go out into the world in so many ways, blessing the world, blessing us. And I'm grateful for all the ways that we give. And so I simply relax into that open-hearted giving, knowing it is present in this community and supporting us beautifully. And so it is. All right, we have a closing song.
Okay, if you're able, if you want to stand, that would be wonderful. But please sing with us. And we're going to do Come Together by Lainey Bernstein and Michael Gott.
Come together, heart and soul, we are drawn together. Young and old, we will sing together, together in one song. Come together, in different worlds we are drawn together. In our own way we can pray together. Together we are strong. I see God in you. I see God in you. You see God in me. You see God in me. One path, one vision, one family. Dreams in hands, join together to build a place we can grow together. Together we are home. Together we are home. Together we are home. Together
Yes, together we are home. So we have a closing affirmations. Please repeat after me. I notice wonderful things happening in my life. I embrace the beauty of paradox in life. I embrace both and thinking to grow and evolve. I am open to the wisdom of opposing perspectives. I am brilliant. And so it is. Thank you.